Right, so I've decided that I need to do some racing. I haven't done much for a while. I did one cross-country race last year with Cy Richardson, and that's about it. So I'm going to do the final round of the EWS this year in Finale Ligure. I've not done any enduro racing for quite a while, so I think I'm going to need some help. So I've come to Bristol, come to BW Cycling, and I've got a 3-time Olympian, a silver medalist at the Commonwealth Games, and 5-time national cross-country champion, Ollie Beckinsale, to give me a hand and try and get me fit. So I've been invited down by Ollie. I don't know what we're doing. I have done things like VO2 max tests and threshold tests in the past when I was a pro, and they're horrible, but where needs must, I guess. I'll get my excuse out of the way. I've not been training. I definitely don't have as much time as I used to have. So I do a little bit of Zwift, go to the gym a little bit, but nowhere near as much time on a bike as I'd like. So I've got my kit. Check out all the old World Cup number plates and all the old ones in there. I recognise some of those myself. We'll get in. Here's the setup, there's my bike. So here I am. Ollie, I'm in your hands.
Okay, so while Neil's getting changed, just going to talk about what he's going to actually do today. So today we're doing a VO2 max test. Simple way of looking at it, it's like we're going to ride an ever steepening climb till Neil actually gets to his maximum. And what we're measuring is his aerobic capacity, so it's his ability to use oxygen as a fuel source and the work of his muscles, okay? So it's the kind of blue ribbon event fitness test for him, okay? How that ties in with his EWS. EWS, he's got his short shaft bursts. He's going to be doing 2 days of racing, 2 days of practice before. In his racing, he's going to be doing really intense anaerobic downhill efforts, but out of the whole day, that's only 6 to 8 small sections. The rest of the time, it's all really hard, steady state exercise. He's going to need that aerobic fitness to get him firstly through the 4 days, and secondly, so when he does the really hard downhill sections, he's still going to be able to perform at his best and allow him to be able to use his technical skills rather than just blagging the sections. So once Neil's done the test, what we'll have is a VO2 maximum for him, but we're able to get some really good training zones. So Neil's going to be short on time. He's got a busy job, young family, like a lot of other guys. He's probably only got like 3 or 4 hours to train for an event that's actually going to be really long in endurance. So if he's got some good training zones, some good kit, he can get the best bang for his buck and then achieve his goal.
So just warming up for the test now, and actually getting a little bit nervous thinking about what I've got to do in Finale. They're really big days out. I think you probably ride about 200k over 4 days, sort of 5,000 meters climbing, so a lot of riding, and obviously 6 or 8 time stages where you have good skill, downhill speed, so lots of work to be done. This Finale is pretty technical, big hills, nothing super steep as far as I can remember, so sort of long technical stages. They're going to be really physical, lots of sprinting, and then of course big liaisons back to the top of the hill.
So here we're just starting the exercise test now. We're sitting at 160 watts on the kicker. We're measuring his heart rate here, so he's sitting here 133, 134, that's what we'd expect for a kind of steady state. And we're measuring here his VO2, so that's put for his milligrams of oxygen per kilogram per minute. So that's how you're measuring that VO2. And you can see we've got oxygen consumption along the bottom here. As we increase, that's your yellow line, that will see that VO2 rise, and then the heart rate as well. Once we go back through the numbers in the background, when the test is done, we'll have a good indication of Neil's ability to burn fat as a fuel source. There's a step change when that happens, and we'll get a good indication of his threshold power. So that'll help give us some really good, accurate training zones. Step now in the power, so taking him up to 180. So obviously after the test today, we'll have a good indication, like say, of Neil's current level of fitness. What we're going to do is put some good training in place, and then ultimately come back again and try and get that power up for the same heart rate and fitness levels, and an increase we'll see in VO2 as well. Okay, going up another notch. So just keep that cadence up, and don't let it drop too much. I know you're not a spinner, but we don't want to see it drop. If you let that cadence drop, the trainer will just load on top of you, all right? Come on, focus on that cadence, come on mate. Don't let it drop. Okay, we're going up again, 340 watts. Right, let's see if we can crack this one out, it's good. Just keep that cadence up, don't let it slide, it won't make it easier, all right? You can get this one done. 20 seconds. See if you can clear this block. Come on, mate. And then that'll be us, all right? Come on. Come on, mate, you can do this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're done. Keep spinning a sec. We'll let the resistance right off. Just keep spinning, keep spinning. Okay, so in brief, Donnie's did his test today, and we've all kind of calmed down now, and we've managed to look through the results. And this is basically the test we've done. So this is the climb going up, and this is his power. Okay, so we started off at 160 watts, so super steady. And now we've increased, we've added 20 watts per minute, and he peaked at 340. So that's the size of his engine, okay? What's going on further down is a couple of key points. 220 watts, that's that aerobic base point, the AB, and that's where he's going from nice and chilled to just starting to put his foot on the gas. And we talked about the kind of getting up a forest road backpack. That's the one we need to try and raise up a little bit. Next one we get to, anaerobic threshold. That's that really hard climb where you start to get the tingling legs and the lactate building up. Once you go past that point, you're blagging it and you can't do it for too long. So what we need to do is when he's doing his training or an EWS event, trying to cruise between here, roughly, and then trying to not go exceed, other than the race sections, this point here. So this is where you're going to try and ride between. So you're going as fast as you can, but you can keep that going all day. Key we're going to try and do with training over the next months is try and get this to rise. So he does another test, he comes back, smashes it, maybe 370 watts for example. But what we need to do is not just get these to go up, but trying to get them to go along. So we can do work and still cruise without going into the red at a higher power for longer during the day. So that's what we're going to try and achieve.
So it's been a couple of days now since I went that day with Ollie, and it's been really good, super motivating. I always think I wish I'd done more of that when I was racing as a pro, getting tested and actually getting some training plans. He's got a really good setup there. We actually saw Laurie Greenland downstairs working out in the gym, so there's a lot of top pro riders actually use this type of training to get ready for their seasons. So looking at the results, so my VO2 max, which is just a good sort of indicator of my overall fitness, that's now 54. Compare that to my VO2 max 3 years ago when I was still racing pro, that was 69. So I've dropped quite a lot. I don't think it's unexpected, to be honest. I know that I've not been training anything like I used to. It's a bit more haphazard now when I do it. I try and ride Zwift a couple of hours in a week. It's definitely harder now. I don't ride definitely as much as I used to. I know it looks like I still ride a lot, but I've got family commitments. Obviously doing this job takes up a lot of my time. So now I do need to find the time to train for Finale. Going to the other results, so my threshold is now, my threshold power should I say, is now 270 watts. Again, that used to be 310 watts when I was a pro. So I last got tested 4 years ago for that one. So it's dropped quite considerably, but Ollie's given me a good idea of the sort of training I need to do. So a lot of training in the lower zones. So like Ollie said, I need to work on that burning fat so I can do that for longer so I don't get super tired, burn all my carbs when it comes to the EWS Finale. So I need to do lots of training in the lower zones and then training to get my threshold up as well, so zones 2 and zones 4. So Ollie's going to give me a training plan so I can work on that and hopefully get round Finale. So what else do I need to work on? I think really it's a case of skills as well. I don't ride as much as I used to, so I need to get out on my road bike, do those lower training zones, but also actually spend a good amount of time on a mountain bike to make sure I can ride those stages and be as fast as possible. So at the moment, my training really, like I said, is haphazard. It sort of consists of an hour or two on a turbo trainer on Zwift in a week. I try and ride cross country at the weekend. Now working with Ollie, I'm going to set the bar a little bit higher. I'm going to try and do 3-hour sessions in the week around work. So I'm going to try and do a fasted ride one morning, and then a couple of turbo sessions, and then I need to do a 3-hour ride at the weekend, either on the road bike or on the cross country bike. And hopefully that's really good work on those two things. So my aerobic base, so I can burn fat for longer, and then really work on my threshold power. Like Ollie said, at the moment, if I try and ride those stages or even the liaisons, I'm going to get above that aerobic zone and I'm going to start burning my carbs too quick and I'm never going to last a day. So I know I've got a couple of big days coming in Finale. I've got time to prepare, so I need to get to it. So there'll be more videos following up on this one soon. I've got that training program coming from Ollie. I'll let you know how I get on. I've got some power meters and software like Training Peaks, and I'll show you how I'm going to try and achieve those training goals. I've also got a really cool bike coming for the racing Finale, so I'll let you know when I can about that. So keep your eyes peeled on the channel. And if you want to see an old video I did about training for enduro when I was fit, click up there, give us a thumbs up if you like this style of kind of vloggy video. Follow me trying to race the EWS, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button.